Hello, this is Mike at Gamefromscratch, and welcome to week 25 of This Week in Game Development. A quick recap of news and events from the world of game development. This is for the week ending May the 8th of 2016, which coincidentally is Mother's Day. So Mom, happy Mother's Day. To various other mothers, happy Mother's Day. Now let's jump right in. This is going to be a fairly short week for the most part. Not a ton happened, so you can get right back to spending the day with your mom if that's how you chose to do it. First off, we had Cocos Creator 1.02 was released. Cocos Creator is a JavaScript-based version of the Cocos 2D library. It's a full editing environment for creating applications for web development. So it's the Cocos 2DX JavaScript libraries, but it's a complete editor, world placement, all that kind of stuff. It's a very cool actual program. I checked it out a little bit while back. So if you're interested, I've done a hands-on video so you can learn a little bit more about it. This release doesn't add a ton. One of the major things is the dashboard now stays memory resident and minimizes to the tray. Not sure if I like that or not, to be honest. And then some simple fixes, changes across the board. On the same topic, we have Unreal Engine 4.12 Preview 2 was released. Once again, it's a preview, so it's not the most stable thing you've ever seen. It's primarily bug fixes, but according to them, and I'll read their direct quote, this release comes with updates and new features for rendering, such as improved high-quality reflections and update for the dual-coat shader model, and support for real-time planar reflection. So basically, Unreal Engine just got slightly prettier than its already pretty status. Next up, we had Substance Designer 5.4 was released. Now, Substance Designer is a companion to Substance Painter, and it's for creating physically based rendering materials. So you're basically creating real-world physical materials as best as possible. This new version adds, most importantly, high DPI support. I'm sick of bad DPI support on Windows applications, so it's nice to see that in there. And there's actually a ton of new options in there. New Baker options, new normal map settings, a bunch of bug fixes, etc. So nice incremental release there, but most importantly, high DPI. I love high DPI. I want to see everybody support high DPI. It's a shame that probably the best application I've seen for HDPI support is Blender, an open source and free product. So let's see more people follow this path, please. Next up, we got Construct 2. Construct 2 is a codeless, or you can potentially code, I believe, but it's mostly a codeless focused 2D game engine in HTML5. Full world editor, all the environment you need, drag and drop scripting blocks to make things happen. They just released version 2.2.8. 2.2.8 adds several new features, nothing really world shattering. You can see the complete list here. Yeah, you know, mostly bug fixes, small changes, a couple of updates, nothing really major in this release. On the same theme, we've also got Unreal Game Engine was patched to 5.3.4 P6. Now, this is not a preview release. This is actually a stable release. Go ahead and download it now if you are using the most current version of Unity. It should just work. All good. Absolutely nothing new here for the most part other than cluster rendering, improvements on cluster networking layer, and reduced instability while using cluster input. Not actually sure what that means. I'm not using Unity to a degree that I have any idea what that means, but that is the only improvement in this release. Otherwise, again, it's a number of features. Mind you, I'm not complaining at all. I love to see all of these game engines on these fast update configuration cycles. So let's keep this up. Let's keep this happening. And then the final release we had this week was Tiled 0.16.1 was released. Now, Tiled is an open source 2D map editor. I got a full tutorial series on it linked right about here. Capable of doing isometric, hexagraphic, and normal projection 2D maps with this guy. A very cool application. This release, though, is mostly just fixing a bug in the last release. It wasn't set to auto-update. Plus, there's a couple of other fixes and crash fixes and translation changes, etc. in this release. As I said, on the whole, not the most exciting week we've ever saw. We basically saw a new patch for Unity, a new patch for Unreal, a small patch for Tile, a small patch for Construct, a big release for Substance Designer, which probably only a few of you are using, and then a small update for Cocos Creator. So again, we're not setting the world on fire with any of this stuff. Now, on a quick note, I just launched a brand new series on Gamefromscratch called Using Hacks with Heaps. Heaps is a very cool hacks-based library, which you can probably guess by the fact that I said hacks and heaps. But Heaps is from the creator of Hacks itself, and it's kind of like SDL or SFML in where it fits. It's got a bit more 3D, a higher level function. There's like model loaders in there, 3D stuff, but it's a low level API for mostly graphics. So they've kind of taken a different approach. You might sit back, and I actually got asked this question a couple times, why not just use OpenFL? Well, OpenFL is all about recreating the Flash experience. And personally, I don't use Hacks because of Flash. I don't use Flash, so I don't give a damn. So I like to see people take like a ground blank sheet approach to this stuff, and that's essentially what Heaps Peeps is. It's a 2D and 3D library, ground up designed for 3D acceleration, modern hardware, modern ways of doing things. Has nothing to do with the Flash model of doing things. So that's why I'm looking at it. And another big part of why I'm looking at this actually is because, well, frankly, the documentation is almost non-existent. It's a very new library. So I'm going into a lot of detail on how to get up and going with it. The very first one, we just came in, did this very simple Hello World application. There's also video available, so if you prefer video over text, but keep expecting new videos in this series. Also expect me to be coming out with a Godot complete game from scratch series very, very soon as well too. So those are the two things I'm working on in tandem right now, in addition to all the other stuff we do here. So there should be a hack series ongoing and a Godot series coming up very soon. Plus I've got some neat new stuff coming from Game from Scratch you should keep an eye on. And of course we're going to have more game engine reviews, more news, more everything. So if you're interested in this stuff, if you haven't already, please do click subscribe. Helps me a lot. I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry for the shortness of it. Unfortunately, not a lot happened in the world, so there's not a lot to recap. So that's about it. That's the end of week 25. Once again, happy Mother's Day. See y'all later. Bye.